Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Happy July 1st. It's Leza live on the news, 103.5 FM KYCA. Where the heck did June go? I mean, don't blink, people. Life passing us every second of every day.
What's taking so long?
Oh, man.
The year's half over.
It can't go any faster than it is, right, Drew?
Well, it seems like it's going faster for me.
I just feel like we're going to be decorating for Christmas tomorrow. That's how I feel.
Do you realize half the year
Half
is
the
over?
year. Half of 2025.
The
over.
second quarter is done.
I know.
And it's been a slog.
It's been something. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's been
it
a
has
doozy.
been something. Well, hopefully y'all woke up and said rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. First things out of your mouth because it's supposed to bring you good luck. I don't know. I do it every month.
I'm not awake
And
yet.
we're still here. So.
I woke up and went, oh, no. I woke up again.
Oh, you poor baby. You say that in jest, I hope.
Oh, of course. I mean, I
course.
wouldn't make it through the day if I didn't come in here and harass you at least a
Yeah,
little
I know,
bit.
right? See, he used to complain about it. He used to act like he had to come in, like we forced him to be here. Now he can't wait to get here. Today he got here before I even did.
Well, that's because someone was late.
I was a little late. Yeah. I decided to do some housework before work. What is that? I must have slept well.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it
If
is.
you-
It is
if you-
nice.
Fever? Are you
It
okay?
is nice. I'm feeling okay. It's kind of warm in here, though. We need to check on the air conditioning during the break.
Well, I shut the vent because you said...
No, do not ever shut the vent.
Oh, Lord.
Did you really?
Yeah. I can never... You think anybody else can reach
Okay,
that? It's
please-
on the ceiling.
Take a second and please go open that vent.
I need to
Go
go
ahead.
right now?
Right
but
now.
You're
I
going
can
to say
talk.
it's freezing
I
in
can
5
talk
minutes.
without you. Go open that vent, please.
You can talk
Come on.
without
I can
me.
talk without you. I've done it before. I can
we
do
can
it
do this without
again.
you.
I just can't win.
Well, don't tell him we can do it without him because then it'll give him a reason to not come in tomorrow. We need him
I
because
didn't say without him. I said without doing that. Yes, you know.
right. Oh my gosh, that makes such a difference. It's like a breeze. I
Yeah,
need
but-
it for the streaming. Are we streaming live
Yeah,
online
it's working,
worldwide?
and there's audio today. So
Okay, thank goodness.
For everyone that watched for 45 minutes where we had no audio, then I shut it off. Not sure what happened, but it's back today.
Boy, did you post that? 45 minutes of just video, me sitting here.
I don't do the video. I
Okay.
only do the
Thank
audio and the
goodness.
outro.
Thank goodness.
All right, so I'm watching the clock.
Yeah.
It is 9:06.
Yeah.
I think by 9:10 you're going to say you're freezing.
I will not say. I wore a light jacket today in honor of our great air conditioning.
Drew, you taking this bet?
You think I'm going
You
to take
know
my
what?
jacket off?
It varies by minute by minute.
Exactly. He lives with a woman. He knows.
You got to pick your battles better than that, man.
You know what? I didn't say on the air how cool it was in here. I kept that amongst ourselves.
It's okay.
Don't make that
outed
public
you.
knowledge because some people might take that as an opportunity to turn down the cool or turn up the heat, whatever it is. They both laugh at me. I always say turn it up, like turn it so it's cooler, but it's actually turn it down so it goes cooler.
Correct.
I understand how it works, people. I just have
Words
my
are
own way.
hard.
I'm sure if we ask Scott, hey, when she says certain things, he knows. I
He
know. When
knows.
Jamie says something, I know what
You
she
know
means.
exactly. Yep.
You got to pick your battles. It's just
I-
easier to do, and you
Yeah.
know, I just don't need to be retrained again for the third time.
No, I hear you on that. Speaking of training,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's time
no.
for Matt Henshaw's broadcaster training on Leza Live. Now, Matt and I are going to be, what do you say, calling the parade. We're going to be calling the parade, right? We're going to
First
be
and last time ever,
Announcing.
probably.
announcing. Well,
Announcing the
are we announcing it? Yeah, I guess we are announcing it. We're calling it. We're announcing it, and that's coming up on Saturday on this fine station. You can also catch it online as well. And Matt's never done it before, and I'm so worried about him. I'm just because this is a big deal, man. This is big time broadcasting.
You should be worried.
Yeah, you probably should.
You should
mean,
be worried.
Is there a live delay there?
There's not a delay, Matt. So you know,
So basically,
just my heel digging into your toe.
Frontier Day Parade 2025 is going to be adults only.
No, it is not. It is a family-friendly broadcast, and we're going to make sure of it. Let's practice. All right. So I'll do my part, and then you do your part. You see where it says, Matt, that's your part. Okay? You see
Is
it?
that what that is?
That's what that says, Matt. Okay.
I thought that was a swear.
Here we go, kicking things off in true Western style. It's our parade grand marshals.
Wait,
Give them a big Prescott
That's not
welcome.
the one I have.
We're down here, Matt. We're right here.
Why
Right
are
here.
we down there?
Do not interrupt me when we're doing the parade.
I do what I want.
No.
You're not the boss of me.
I'm starting to rethink this, even though we posted our AI-generated picture on our Facebook pages.
Why is the arrows up here then?
Because we did that yesterday,
Well, then why?
Matt.
I'm so
I
confused.
don't know this. I don't know if this is
This is
going to
going
work.
downhill
We might.
quick.
If you see Jason, flag him in. Okay, if you see him, flag him in.
Do I get to go home?
Let's try this again. Let's try this again. See my part right here? Parade begins.
Oh.
Sample transition lines. See?
Transition lines.
Here we go.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Kicking things off in true Western style. It's
Yeehaw!
I don't know.
He's your sidekick, man. You know what you want from me.
He's my sidekick because he's cheap. You guys have no
Wow.
idea how cheap he is.
Wow.
That's not true. He's bought me dinner and lunches.
Well, and he's paid for the movies here and there, but
Yeah,
as far
he's
as
not
work, as far as paying
So,
for his work.
so before we begin,
Okay.
a big thank you to our presenting sponsor, Jason Thompson Handyman Services, and a special salute to all the volunteers. Oh wait, that's the wrong one again. Isn't
That
it?
is the wrong one. It's right here.
Oh.
Next up.
Next up, it's the team from Prescott Valley Days, bringing the spirit of the frontier to life with Jason Thompson. Thompson Handyman. Oh,
Okay, I think we're gonna have to change some things. Listen to how I do it. Listen to this. This is how a professional does it, right? You can't have a rodeo parade without horses. Here come the Arizona Rough Riders drill team, showcasing precision riding and old school frontier flair. Watch those saddle turns.
and the road apples.
I knew the road apples were coming in. That was a given.
All right, well, it's going to be a parade broadcast like none other. I'm just
Yeah.
going to say it that way.
You
Tune
know
in
what?
and find
it
out.
Just needs to be light and airy and let people enjoy
Exactly,
the parade.
exactly.
You
But
know?
don't interrupt me.
What?
That's the only thing you.
Yeehaw!
No, that's going to happen a lot.
Oh,
you
brother.
better get used to that.
Okay, all right. We'll practice again tomorrow. Okay.
On the air?
Of course, on the air.
Do I have to practice at home too?
It might be wise.
In the mirror?
Might be a good idea. Yeah, might be a good idea. Hey, you guys can watch our streaming of the parade on Saturday online at kyca.info. I think the City of Prescott's website as well. And you can also sit right by us. We are going to be at the big stage, on the big stage, right there on Cortez Street, where the judges usually sit.
Oh, now I'm scared.
You need to get yourself a cowboy hat.
I don't have one.
Well, we'll ask Chief Dura if he has one you can borrow.
No, I'm just gonna roll up. I was already planning it out. I'm gonna wear my Metallica shirt, cut off jeans, have chains.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
we're gonna rock.
we'll talk about it a little later on. All right. Speaking of July, which we did at the top of the hour,
Hula.
there are 5 things to look forward to this month. Want to hear them? Amazon Prime Days next week. It's 4 days this time, running from July 8th through the 11th. We've talked about this. Prime Days, they make you feel like you have to buy something, and I bought crap and I never used it on the last Prime Days.
Especially snail
Snail
stuff.
facial secretions.
God, that's disgusting.
I still have it. I'm going to bring it in. We're going to put it on your face.
On my
During
face?
Prime Day.
Drew's the one that's old.
I'd rather be old than have that on my face.
Right, so you're the one
Snail
that needs...
secretions? Amazon highly recommended it.
That's why you use it.
I don't use it.
That's why I'm
It was
saying.
sticky.
If you're not going to use it, I'm certainly not going to use it.
Well, that's what I bought last Prime Day. So we're going to see. We're going to forego it this year.
What if it makes your hair come back, Drew?
Well, then I'd sleep with it on.
Well, there's something to try. Would you try it?
Only if it was that was what it was designed for.
Okay, well, we'll read the instructions.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Also, in sports, Wimbledon is underway. The Tour de France starts this weekend. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is July 15th. Golf's Open Championship starts the 17th. And the WNBA All-Star Game is July 19th. There are some sports to look forward to. which is a good thing. Lots of big movies this month. Jurassic World Rebirth opens tomorrow. You're going to see that for the review. You're going to see it tomorrow so you can talk about it on Thursday?
Oh, I don't know.
I know, because
I'll
we're not
try.
here. We're not here on Friday. It's 4th of July. We got the day off.
Well, what?
Yeah.
I don't get days off.
Well, I do.
You both do. I'm here.
Oh, you don't. Oh, Barry asked me if we wanted him to come in, but
Yeah,
I don't
of
want
course.
to come in. No,
Only if
4th
he's
of
bringing
July.
in hot dogs.
I got family and festivities to take care of.
Oh, I thought you were talking
we're
Thursday.
doing a 4th of July show. Phil King's coming in
Oh.
with his 4th of July. He did last year. He did a great job.
Okay.
With Goodland.
Perfect.
And yeah,
Is he taking up our hour as well?
no.
Oh.
You're. I think best of show for you.
Oh, best of. Okay.
So this
Let's
one,
make today the best of. This might be a repeat because it's gonna be a good one. Coming up, we have Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura and our brand new fire marshal. We're going to get to meet him, and we're going to talk about fire safety. You know, things are heating up, drying out, and then we have the 4th of July on top of it. Plus, people coming up from the valley who don't know how to live in a matchbox like we do. So we're going to be talking about that coming up.
so basically how not to blow your hands off with fireworks.
Well, basically, how not to start a wildfire is what I'm thinking.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that as well. But first, I want to finish telling you what to look forward to this month. James Gunn's Superman reboot lands the 11th. Gonna see that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a reboot, but
That's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
A reboot. I
see.
know What You Did Last Summer opens on the 18th. Fantastic Four, The First Steps, hits theaters the 25th, and Happy Gilmore 2. I can't wait. Hits Netflix the same day. So that's July 25th. On TV, South Park, new seasons of South Park, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia start next week. The new spinoff Dexter Resurrection premieres the 11th. The ESPY Awards are on the 16th, and Shark Week starts July 20th. Always a favorite amongst us inlanders, anyway. And finally, the holidays. The big one is the 4th of July, but we've also got National Bikini Day this Saturday, National Fried Chicken Day on Sunday, World Chocolate Day on the 7th, National French Fry Day, and National Mojito Day on the 11th, and Ice Cream Day is July 20th. Hopefully that's a Friday.
I noticed
That should be a holiday for Barry then.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. July 20th is a Sunday.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
you just glazed right over National Bikini Day.
Well,
Yeah, I saw that. You notice that?
yeah, why?
Where-
You gonna wear your bikini on Saturday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That'll be a heck of a parade.
Well,
Matt in a Speedo. There you go.
yeah.
oh God. No offense, Matt. Just anyone in a Speedo at a
It's the
parade.
visual.
Anyone in
Sure.
a
It's the
Speedo
visual.
at a parade. It's not appropriate. Drew.
Prefer banana hammock, but
All right, we're going to move on because, like I said, we have a couple of very important guests and a very important topic to discuss. Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura and new Fire Marshal Anthony Valdez. Coming up next here on Leza Live. Stay with us. Okay, you're drinking a lot of water. You know, it's heating up outside, and they say stay hydrated, recommending, 8-ounce glasses a day. If you're having a hard time putting that kind of water down, you might want to look into a whole home water filtration system from H2O Health Water and Health Solutions. That's what I did, and we are drinking water like crazy at my house. Let me tell you why. Not only does it taste delicious, but it's so much better for us. It's free of all sorts of gunk that you don't want to be drinking every day, pesticides, herbicides, bacteria. And this whole home water filtration system does not remove the essential minerals that your body needs. So if you're interested, you need to go to H2O Health Water and Health Solutions. Talk to the team up there. They'll tell you what you're drinking and how you can get your home water filtered throughout. I'm loving mine. The number to call, 928-899-7504. You can call them to make an appointment for a free consultation or just stop in. Again, that's H2O Health, Water, and Health Solutions in the Pine Ridge Marketplace. Please tell them when you go that Leza sent you. Welcome back. It's Leza live on the news, 103.5 FM KYCA. Joining us once again, we have Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming in. This has got to be a very busy week for you
Right.
and your department. And so thank you for taking the time to chat with us this morning.
Of course. It's also one of the best weeks, right, in Prescott, for
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
So-
We have several throughout the year, but yes, this one is one of the best for
Yes,
sure.
indeed.
Now, you brought somebody with you that you want to
Yes.
introduce to everybody. Please.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is Anthony Valdez. He's our new division chief for community risk management. He's also our fire marshal and emergency manager. So he's
Okay.
definitely, for the conversation we're going to have today, very vital.
Very nice.
I am extremely excited that he's here. We stole him from Colorado from a fairly large department.
Wow.
With a lot of experience. Anthony has a significant amount of respect in this industry, and we are so fortunate to have him. He actually started in December, and since that time, he's not slowed down.
Yeah.
He's done some great things, and I just cannot wait to see where he takes his role next, and I think you're going to find that out as we talk this morning.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, welcome, Anthony, and it's so nice to meet you and
Nice to meet you
have
as
you
well.
on the show and have you here in Prescott, Arizona. You're coming from where in Colorado?
The Denver metro area.
Okay. And
Yep.
did you know Anthony, Chief, before you came here?
We knew of each other, but we didn't know each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because you come from that area as
Correct.
well, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So you've been here since December. And what do you think so far?
Oh, I love it here. The community here is amazing and has completely embraced my arrival and supported me through the last 7 months. So, yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Wonderful. Well, we're happy to have you. And you've got a very long title. Can you tell me what it is again? I mean, Chief just blew through it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought he was just the fire marshal. Explain what exactly it is that you do for the department.
Yeah, sure. So, as the Community Risk Management Division Chief, I serve as the city's fire marshal, the city's emergency manager, and I'm also the fire department's public information officer.
Okay.
So I help support our traditional fire marshal responsibilities, such as code enforcement, plan review for development and construction and inspections, fire and explosion investigations, and so forth. Also support our wildfire risk management efforts and being able to be active in the community and reducing that significant risk that we have. And in addition to serving as the public information officer for the fire department. So a fair amount of different hats and trying to still get my feet under me a little bit, but it's going really well so far.
Fantastic. Now, personally, are you a family man? You come from Colorado. That's where you grew up. A little bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Vail, Colorado.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's a fun fact that I'm a multi-generation of that county.
Nice.
I grew up in the same house my mother grew up in, so that's really a neat thing. And we're on our 5th generation to graduate from the same high school.
That's cool.
So that's pretty fun.
Are you a good
fact.
skier? Good skier?
I at one time used to be,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But that's one of those things when you grow up around it, you either stay with it for life or you just kind of get out of it as you go.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I've traveled. I lived in a few other states around the country, and then I came back to the Denver metro area in Colorado in 2006 and served on the fire department that I'm now leaving almost shy of 19 years.
Wow. That's amazing. 19 years so far.
Yes.
You just look so young to me. That's wonderful. Well, good
thank
for you. Well, I'm glad that you're here this morning because we want to talk about, and I'm sure you did as well in Vail. We live in a matchbox. We're holding our breath pretty much every year at this time. And then we have the 4th of July on top of that, visitors coming to our area. And we just want to talk basically about what we can do to reduce the chance of fire in any capacity
Right.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just dive right into
Okay,
it.
that sounds
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so obviously right now the Prescott National Forest is at extreme fire danger. You've seen the signs around town, and that's nothing new to this area. I think
Right.
people, understand that, right? The other thing that I really want to make sure that I emphasize is we are in a community that lives with wildfire. We don't fight against wildfire. It is something that we adapt to, and that's really important. And you've heard this message from Conrad a lot,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We cannot prevent all forest fires. It is about being prepared. It's about mitigating. Yes, it is about suppression, but then it's also even about the recovery end. And that's, I think, why Anthony's role is so important, because he really gets to see all 3 of those phases, and all 3 of those phases need significant attention, because, for instance, the idea that we will have a wildfire is important for us to understand. We want to make sure that wildfire's impact is really minimal, but we want to, before that fire even starts, get ready for the recovery. You know, because if you don't prepare for that, then we're so far behind the 8 ball after people have already dealt with tragedy. It's really important for us to be able to lead in that area too.
So what do you do? What are you doing to facilitate the recovery?
Right. So we work with emergency management. We have conversations like Conrad does. Is we know the insurance companies have been a topic of conversation in this area and actually in the entire West, right?
For sure.
It's making sure that you know where your policies are. It's making sure that you have your go bags, the things that we talk about evacuation. But for us, it's also making sure that we build those intergovernmental partnerships with people like Yavapai County OEM, building departments, other regulatory agencies that are all really integral and vital for us to be able to rebuild. And that's very, very important for us to start that conversation early. It's of course not at the same level that we might in mitigation. It's a little bit more conceptual, and those are 3, 5, 10-year planning windows.
Sure.
But it is important nonetheless to have those conversations early.
Absolutely. So you said we are in extreme fire danger right now. The winds, the dryness, the people visiting our area. What are the fire restrictions in place right now, and what could they go to?
Yeah, well, let's ask our new fire marshal about that, right?
Please.
Yeah, so we're in stage 1 fire restrictions,
Okay.
which is the first level of restrictions that we can place on the community, preventing open flame fires that involve wood type fuels. So basically any ember producing type fuels are prohibited. Fireworks are prohibited, and that's even the permissible consumer fireworks, in addition to just the general illegal fireworks that would be normally illegal in the state of Arizona anyway. That does not prevent fire departments from permitting fire pyrotechnic displays, such as the City of Prescott's 4th of July celebration displays. It also prohibits, the stage 1 restrictions also prohibit shooting in outdoor areas. And I think that's about it.
Okay, so stage 1 restrictions, that applies to the City of Prescott and surrounding areas?
We collaborated with Prescott National Forest in their restrictions, as an addition to Yavapai County Office of Emergency Management. So pretty much the entire Yavapai County area is in stage 1 fire restrictions.
Okay, so you said no open flames, including wood. So you're talking your backyard firing. That is not something you can be using right now. If you're using wood, now if you're using a barbecue that uses propane or charcoal, that's okay.
Yes.
I mean, we need to get specific here, because I think
Absolutely.
people
Yeah.
sometimes don't realize, that we're talking to them.
Exactly. Right. Right.
I have some neighbors who it's actually a vacation rental, and they were in town and they had a fire pit going, and I'm like, I don't think that's allowed right there, and they have no clue. They're on
Sure.
vacation. So,
Sure.
let's just get real specific, especially with the holiday weekend coming up. A lot of people have gatherings and they want to do the fire pit and roast the marshmallows, but you cannot do it with any kind of ember producing flames.
That is correct. Yep. So propane is acceptable still in a defined use for that,
Okay.
whether it's in a fire pit that has propane produced gas, and or if it's in a defined area, like a public area, what have you, that have that. But yes, no ember producing fuels.
Okay. And then the fireworks. Why are we selling fireworks? Why can you walk into, certain stores in this area and buy sparklers and firecrackers and things? I mean, it just surprises me every year.
So we are prohibiting in the stage 1 restriction the sale of fireworks as well, and we are making an effort to try to educate those vendors that are selling those. So far, we've gotten great collaboration with everyone.
Good.
And they've immediately removed those displays from their floors. But it's kind of one of those things where we're not familiar with everywhere it's
Sure.
being sold. So as
Sure.
we're learning of those, we are taking enforcement action.
Wonderful. That's good to know.
And educating those store managers, and they've been very, very receptive to that message.
Right.
Yeah, and
Very
a lot of that comes from corporate, outside
Sure.
the area.
Sure, they don't know
And
where
you-
they're selling
And
it.
you put the display up, and
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more Firewise talk this morning with Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura and the new fire marshal for the department, Anthony Valdez, here on Leza Live. All right. The air conditioning in here is just delightful. And if you're having problems with your air conditioning, like Drew did over the weekend, are you back up? Drew, are you running?
No, they'll be out there tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, fantastic. You don't want to run into any problems with your heating and air, I'm telling you. And you need to have this number in your phone if you do run into a problem. 928-848-6224. That's the number for AC Medic Heating and Air, your trusted first responder for comfort. We hate being uncomfortable. I know I do. I don't want to be sweating buckets or bundling up inside. That's why if I have a problem, I call Bob and the team at AC Medic Heating and Air. You need to have the number just in case. And this is super special. They offer 10% off repairs for all veterans, seniors, and first responders. The number, put it down, 928-848-6224. Welcome back. It's Leza Live on the News, 103.5 FM, KYCA. My guest today, Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura, and the new fire marshal for the Prescott Fire Department, Anthony Valdez. Happy to have you guys in this morning. And if you're not streaming us live worldwide, you got to check out. You might want to get on because these gentlemen look so nice in their uniforms this morning. It just makes it feel so official, doesn't it, Matt?
Should watch yourselves.
Yeah.
I'm glad the table is separated right here.
Wow.
Come on.
Leza?
Come on.
I'm over Klimt now.
I should never go to Matt in these conversations. He's always going to say something like that.
You haven't learned your lesson yet. It's okay. You'll get there.
Man.
Eddie, is he on camera? He's not on camera.
No,
That's weird.
never.
Not,
How
yeah.
weird.
And I
How
control
weird.
the cameras.
I know.
That's
He just
the
rolls
best.
right. He just rolls right out of bed and comes into work. Yeah.
Really? I look that bad?
No, you
Now I'm
don't.
going to cry again.
No, you don't. Don't cry. All right, we're talking about fire safety this time of year. I've lived here for 34 years, and every year this time we hold our breath. I live in the Pines. You know, we did all the mitigation efforts to keep our defensible space, up and done. And but we do hold our breath because, like you said, it's not about if, it's about when.
Yeah.
I was evacuated during the Indian Fire, which was so long ago. My kids were, this tall. It was very scary. I don't want to go through that again. PTSD. What are some of the things that people might be overlooking this time of year?
Yeah, let's start at the grand level. And this is going to
Okay.
sound a little funny. My junior high civics teacher taught me one of the most important lessons that I could have ever learned. And he said, America's a free country. You have the right to fail, but you don't have the right to take anybody else with you. And the reason why I bring that up in this context, right, is sometimes when we hear these fire safety messages about firewizing your yard or making sure that, you keep combustibles away from other things, I mean, all that stuff, right? You kind of look at it, well, I'm okay. You know, that's the
Right.
natural reaction. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I think my house is okay, or maybe I'm not going to get to that this weekend. Understand that the actions in a community like Prescott that you take around prevention have a compounding impact on your neighbors.
Yes.
And I really want people to understand that that personal responsibility is not just about protecting you and yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about protecting all of our, together. And we are a community. Prescott is community oriented.
Right.
And so these prevention messages, and I'm gonna really ask Chief Valdez to expand on this a little bit. It's so important that you understand that when you take an action, either in positive or negative, the impact on your neighbor and the entire community is amplified. So when we
Yes.
say check your chain so they're not dragging on the road,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you follow fire restrictions. Those aren't just about you. That's really what I want people to understand.
Right.
But maybe Chief Valdez, if you can expand a little bit on sort of the general things that we talk about. We talk about a lot of times fireworks, of course, and they're actually fairly muted here compared to other areas of the country because people do pay attention.
Right.
But there are still things around the 4th of July with the activities that are going on, camping, cooking, all these other things that we really want people to understand. And it's the best time of the year to talk about wildfire prevention just because, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
our mind and our attention is on it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it's, as the chief said, that there's a lot of activities that revolve around fire during this season, right? Like you mentioned earlier, campfires, people want to roast marshmallows,
Mm-hmm.
roast hot dogs, all those different things, right? And it's really critical for people to respect fire. If they're going to use it and they're going to use it within the parameters that are in place within our fire restrictions, it's really necessary that they're safe around it, that they have a way of extinguishing that fire in a very quick manner, such as a garden hose or some sort of other means of water, that type of thing. Also, one of the things is most people feel like, oh, I put a bucket of water on it and then I go to bed. And those embers or what have you that fuel stays hot and it comes back and rekindles, and then we have a fire overnight that escapes that particular area.
Sure.
And so, this is very notorious where, unfortunately, a lot of folks wake up to find the backside of their houses on fire because of that particular element exactly. Oh, I thought I put the fire out and I didn't.
Sure.
And so those are very critical things that people need to keep in mind. And I also just want to mention that it's also a season of alcohol use. And sometimes
Sure.
that's done responsibly and sometimes it's not done as responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you mix fire and maybe not as responsible alcohol use, then we end up with a lot more increased risk for things to go wrong.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, and to the point that you were making, Chief, as far as what you're doing, you're responsible for your neighbors as well.
Right.
What if you have somebody in your neighborhood that's not quite up to, the same level for
Yeah,
defensible space?
yeah.
And I mean, how do you handle that?
Yeah,
You know,
that's,
and you
that's
I mean,
difficult.
I have a neighbor who has tons of firewood
Mhm.
on his property. I'm talking cords and cords and cords of firewood, and I'm worried about that. It's not on the property between our houses. It's on the other side, but still, I mean, I worry about that if that's if a wildfire comes through there,
Yeah.
that's fuel for the fire, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the first thing I would say is the same thing that I would tell our internal folks when they're trying to resolve conflict. Go to the party first and see if you can talk about it.
Right.
I think it's always the best solution.
Sure.
You'd be amazed how many times we get brought in to solve neighborhood disputes.
Right. I
And that's not
bet.
what the fire code is for.
No.
And that's not what our governmental agencies are for. We do have neighborhood services that's able to talk about code restrictions. But the other thing people need to understand is we have fairly limited abilities on private property to enforce certain laws. And we do have some,
Yeah.
but it's not the same as in a commercial occupancy.
Sure.
And that is constitutionally protected, right?
Right.
So people need to understand, I think, that they should, if they can, right, in a safe manner, interact with that neighbor, try to get them into a conversation around that, and maybe they're just not aware. The other thing is, of course, you can always point them to our websites. We have great fire safety information, and if you do feel like you're not getting anywhere,
Right.
please do reach out to either our community development department and neighborhood services, the fire department, or if we have to talk about this conflict between neighbors sometimes escalates to even the police department.
Right.
We'd rather not see that, obviously, but there are those resources if all else fails. Now, the other thing is you're not going to be able to control everything around you. That's the
Right.
other hard part,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And that's when if you can't resolve that, again, you double down, see what you can do in your yard, and make sure you protect yourself as much as you possibly can.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, very good. Let's take another quick break. When we come back, more. And if you have a question for either Chief Dura or Chief Valdez, give us a call, 928-541-1016. I'm sure you'd love to answer some questions on the phone,
Absolutely.
right? Fantastic. All right, that's coming up here on Leza Live. So at Prescott Women's Clinic, a visit isn't just about a checkup. It's about feeling heard. It's about taking a deep breath, knowing you are in the right hands of providers who see you, not just your chart. Whether it's your first visit or your 50th, they're here to walk you through every stage that you have: adolescence, motherhood, menopause, and everything in between. Prescott Women's Clinic has served our area for over 40 years. They're not going anywhere. They are trusted and compassionate. I've been to them. I had both my babies with them a couple decades ago. If you need to make an appointment, this is who you call, 928-778-4300, or you can visit them online at PrescottWomen'sClinic.com. Here we go. And we're back. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. It's Leza Live on the News 103.5 FM, KYCA. Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura and new Fire Marshal Anthony Valdez in with us this morning talking about fire safety with 4th of July coming up. We're going to see people doing things that they shouldn't be doing. When do we call? When do we call the fire department? Our neighbors shooting off bottle rockets. Yeah. Do we wait till there's an emergency, or do we call when there's, the sign of somebody doing something that could create an emergency?
Yeah, call before. I mean, when you see things leaving the ground, exploding, it's time to call our non-emergency number.
Okay.
And we've got that.
Yes.
We'll announce if you want to.
It's 928-445-3131. Right. And, you call that number unless it's an emergency.
Absolutely.
Unless a fire has started or somebody's been hurt. Then, of course, you call 911.
100%.
But if you want to report on the neighbor that's got the fire ring and the embers, you see them from your backyard. And that's when you call 928-445-3131.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. And, I'm sure that you will echo me in saying that leave the fireworks up to the professionals.
Please.
The city of Prescott always does such a great job with the celebrations and go see a professional fireworks show.
Absolutely, 100%. We're just not in an area of the country where you can just go into your cul-de-sac and shoot off fireworks. It's
Right.
just not what Yavapai County is all about. And,
No.
that's just a matter of fact, but that also comes with the natural beauty that we're in and all the other things that we get to enjoy instead. But you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
We would love to see folks at our fireworks show and enjoy that with the community. That's where we should be doing that. And as you remember, there might even be, this year is not the case, but, in other years where it's even more extreme, even we would cancel our fireworks
Right.
display.
Yes.
And that really kind of puts it in perspective for folks because the amount of safety measures that we put in place just to shoot off those fireworks
Yes.
is intense. And so you just walking into your cul-de-sac having a great time, you can imagine where that could go wrong in a hurry. So
yes.
please.
Be careful. All right, let's shift gears a little bit to the monsoon.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah,
we had a
absolutely.
little bit of rain at my house yesterday, and we were all doing the happy dance,
Mm-hmm.
let it pour. But with the monsoon comes the chance for fire, lightning cause fires and,
Yep.
and whatnot, and emergencies as well.
Yeah.
What do you want to call to people's attention regarding the monsoons?
Yeah, so first of all, if you're new to the community, do not take this as a rainstorm where you might have come from.
Right.
Monsoons are serious. It is a lot of water in a lot of, in a short amount of time, and especially when you think about how Prescott is in a bowl, that water aggregates. So areas around Granite Creek do tend to flood pretty quickly, and be aware of that. When you see low water crossings that say don't cross when flooded, pay attention to those signs. That's not a joke, And I think the first one or two monsoon rains that somebody sees when they've just moved here, they get what I'm saying, right? So first of all, a couple of things. We got rodeo this week. We are always paying attention to lightning. If we have to shut that down, and so that's it's something we send to the entire community. Make sure you pay attention. If you've got a smartphone, you can get lightning detectors. Obviously, those weather apps. Pay attention to those if you're recreating in the outdoors. If you're going for a hike, make sure that you forecast not just in the next 10 minutes, but the next hour to 2 hours.
Sure.
And then as far as, flash flooding, make sure that you get out of those low-lying areas as fast as you can. Like I said, do not try to cross anything that's flooded because you just don't know the amount of debris flow that comes, especially at the beginning of monsoon season, because all that stuff is accumulated over the wintertime. Really, really important for people to understand that. And then finally, the other thing that I want people to understand is sometimes our monsoons do tend to get so intense, right, that things like curbs, gutters, and other things can wash out. Make sure you contact our Public Works Department if you see that in your neighborhood so that we can assess the damage and repair that when it's necessary.
Okay, very good. It always amazes me how people will try to cross those fast
Absolutely.
rushing waterways
Yeah.
because they got to get, they don't want to go the back way. It takes too long. I'm just going to give it a shot. And that water is rushing so much faster than we realize, even in how deep.
You can, as deep as 12 to 18 inches,
Yeah.
it can take you out at the knees. It's incredible, and anything above that, really, you cannot compete with water. Anybody that's been tossed by a wave in the ocean understands that. The other component, too, is actually this is where there's a cool little collaboration between Firewise and monsoon preparedness because windstorms tend to bring down trees. Well, if you maintain your trees healthy and you prune them and all those things that are good for Firewise, you'll also be more prepared for severe windstorms and hail that comes along with the monsoon season.
It just
so
makes sense.
there you go.
It just makes
There's
sense.
a little plug.
Fantastic. All right, we got to take one more break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap it up with what else people can do to keep themselves safe during, especially this week and this season here in our area. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with us. It's Leza Live on the News, 103.5 FM KYCA. Guest this morning, Prescott Fire Chief Holger Dura and new Fire Marshal Anthony Valdez, who, of course, I asked you about your personal life earlier, and then you mentioned during the break, I am a family man. So tell us a little bit more about your family.
Yeah, so I'm married. I've been married for 13 years almost, and
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And we have 3 fur babies, not human babies. So yep, and they are all traveled in and made it here finally. We've been living apart for almost 7 months. So
wow.
During this transition, so we're excited to be back as a family again.
Nice. Well, we welcome your wife and your babies to
Yes,
the area.
thank you.
I hope they learn to love it here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. And also, I wanted to talk about it at the beginning of the hour, and it totally escaped me. But
Right.
yesterday, just a real heart-heavy day in our area, for your department, for our community, for, the whole world, really, because it was such a tragic day 12 years ago. And I wanted to see if you want to reflect a little bit about, our Granite Mountain hotshots.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it is in our DNA and it's ever present with us. But it is heart heavy, but it's also at this point starting to be a story of transformation and a story of rebirth. So first of all, to start this off, of course, our 19 hotshots are constantly on our minds. They are infused into everything. And this community, I think sometimes even when you've lived here for a while, as significant it is, I think you sometimes underestimate just how impactful it was. Back then, to think that we lost a quarter of our department in a second, and that the community was impacted by it, Little League coaches, high school kids, it's just so interconnected here in Prescott. And so this was a community-wide tragedy. And I think that sometimes gets missed by a lot of us. The other thing is, and I always want to emphasize this, even us as the fire department and the community as a whole are not as impacted as the surviving family members, whether it's the parents, the brothers, the sisters, the widows. It's so the kids. It's just so important that we understand that the most impacted stakeholder group in this are them. And my mind is constantly focused there to see, are we doing right by them? And as we transform and as we transition, it's important that we transform and transition with them and their needs. So for instance, one thing I want to mention, you probably noticed there's no 19 under the P this year.
You're right.
That came straight from a family member that was directly involved with that.
Okay, that's good to know
Yes.
because a lot of people were like, where is it? Why isn't it here?
Exactly. And the message that we got from them, and maybe put this into context, right, is they are thinking about it every day of the year. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, they're thinking about it. And they did not want to see that visual reminder in June of every year as they drive to the grocery store to see that 19 up on that mountain. And for me to say, no, to the family members?
Oh, yeah.
Of course not. We're not going to do that. But here's the other thing that those family members said. We now have the statue in Courthouse Square. Let's transition our reflection just from the 19 on the mountain to year-round celebration in Courthouse Square where they belonged in the first place.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
Love that. And I'm so glad you brought that up, like I said, because a lot of people were missing it and wondering. And it does. It puts it into perspective. And, of course, we want those family members to have any kind of peace that they can.
Absolutely. And the other thing, too, is the ethos of a hotshot crew, right, is not to be grandiose. It's not to be out front. It's not to be out in the public spotlight.
Right.
Quietly come, do your work, and when whoever returns, they just know that it got taken care of, but they don't know by whom. And that was definitely part of the motto of the Granite Mountain Hotshots. And so for us, you'll notice that there's not a lot of our department members that show up to these public commemorations. And there's a lot of very personal reasons for that, as you can imagine.
Sure.
19 funerals are hard, right? But the other thing, too, is we have ingested that DNA to the point where we don't want to be publicly recognized necessarily. We want to go do our work. As a matter of fact, even during the 10th and the 11th commemorations, those were the big ones, right?
Yes.
Remember, 2 years ago, we were in Courthouse Square with 8,000 people and an F-35 flyover.
Yes.
There was not a lot of people from the Prescott Fire Department there. Because why? They weren't gone. They were working the trucks and they were running calls in town.
Right.
That's how we, as a department, choose to honor that.
Sure.
And even in the rebirth that we're doing right now with new fire stations and Conrad's position and all of these things, those are all part of our ability to move on, transform, and grieve and integrate that. Really, for us, grief as the Prescott Fire Department is so familiar to us that we understand in order for us to be able to do that, purpose has to be assigned to that grief. And we've done that for the last 12 years, and it's a natural transition, and we lean into it. We're a very mentally aware and emotionally aware fire department. I'm so grateful for that because we don't leave conversations without hugs. We don't leave conversations without saying I love you and mean it, right?
Right.
And there's so many really good things that came out of this too. It is an unfathomable tragedy. I'm not downplaying that at all.
No.
But I really am trying as much as possible when we talk about this for even the community. If we want to invite them in on our journey of recovery and our journey of transformation, it is important for us to do that. It doesn't mean we will forget. I always say always remember, because forgetting is the negative, remembering is the positive.
Right.
And what are you going to do with that remembrance? Are you going to mournfully look into the past, or are you going to actually hopefully look to the future? And like I said, Conrad is a perfect example. He is actually part of the rebirth of the Granite Mountain Hotshot Crew.
Right.
Literally, one
Yes.
of those positions that he holds on the position title in the city of Prescott
Yeah.
is one of the old Granite Mountain Hotshot slots. So keep that in mind, that really it is literally a transformation of where we've been and where we're going, because guess what? The wildfire threat did not get any less.
Right.
And people need to understand that. And so we will always pause on June 30th. We did a fantastic private family service at the Pioneers Home Cemetery. We then transitioned over to the Learning and Tribute Center and then finished up the day at 442 in Courthouse Square. We'll always do that, you know, and the 15, 20, 25 year, we're going to do a bigger deal.
Right.
But in the meantime, what we're going to do is make sure that we integrate the lessons that those men taught us and get to work. And that's what they would have wanted. They wouldn't have wanted, you know, that big public display.
You're
so,
right.
yeah.
That was wonderful. I think we all needed to hear that, to be honest with you, with going throughout the day yesterday and just the sadness, and, you know, everybody pulls out their memorabilia and their Be Better band that we got from the Ashcrafts and you know, to look forward and all the good that came from it is important. And maybe next year you can come on the 30th and
Be happy to.
and remind us all about that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate you both for coming in. It's so nice to meet you, and welcome to our community.
Thank you.
And let's just all pray for a very smooth,
Indeed.
you know, week and a monsoon season. Everybody stay safe out there and heed the advice of these very smart men, and just be careful.
Yeah.
Be super careful out there. You want to leave us with one last thought? We have about 15 seconds.
One last thought. Absolutely. 100%. You know, if you want to interact with us, stop by one of our fire stations. We love to see the community. If you just want to learn a little bit more about Prescott Fire, our website, prescottfire.org, is a fantastic place to start as well. And more than anything, have a safe 4th of July.
Thank you so much, Chiefs. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Happy 4th of July. I'll see you on 99.1 at noon. Thanks for listening.